So a think tank just dropped a report that should make every single person watching this video stop whatever they're doing. For the first time in 50 years. 50 years. More people are leaving the United States than coming in. Not just moving state to state. Actually leaving the country. And the 10 states that we're going to cover today, they're ground zero for what research are calling a population collapse. And we're talking about places where the math on keeping basic services running are trying to break down. Stick around, because a few of these are going to surprise you. Number 1 is California. California lost more residents to other states than any other place in America last year. Not a trickle. Hundreds of thousands of people just gone. And these aren't just people who got evicted. We're talking teachers, tech workers, small business owners, people with good jobs and still couldn't make it work. But here's what nobody tells you. California is still technically gaining people through immigration, so the headline numbers, they look fine. It's basically a swap program that nobody voted for. One person arrives from another country while the California residents loads a U-Haul to Texas. And that U-Haul makes complete sense when you see the housing math. Median home price is near $800,000. Number 2 is New York. New York City, finance capital of the world. A place where everybody is meant to want to be. So why do New York State lose over 100,000 residents in net last year? And why aren't any of them coming back? Here's the thing about NY tax situation. It's genuinely brutal. State income tax, city income tax, on top of that if you're in the 5 boroughs, and a cost of living that just keeps on climbing. Someone making 80 grand a year in Manhattan is literally working and living paycheck to paycheck. And that's not a New York story, a quirky one. That's a crisis. But here's what nobody tells you. New York's whole identity runs on density. People packed together, riding the subway, filling restaurants, spilling money everywhere. And when that density starts thinning out, the math on running all those services falls apart real fast. And the NTA needs riders to function. Restaurants need foot traffic to survive. Pull enough people out of that ecosystem and the whole thing starts to wobble. Remote work just blew the doors off. Once you could keep your Manhattan salary without actually being in Manhattan. People ran the numbers overnight. Why pay $4,000 for a 1-bedroom while Raleigh has a perfectly good $1,200 equivalent? Tens of thousands of people pick Raleigh. Or Austin. Or, honestly, anywhere that didn't require selling a kidney to cover the rent. And fewer taxpayers means state faces fewer budget choices, and those choices show up as slower services and deferred maintenance, which is a terrible look when you're charging a premium just to exist there. Number 3 is Illinois. Illinois has been losing people for almost a decade straight. But here's the catch. It's not the whole state bleeding out. It's Chicago's financial disaster dragging everything down with it, and Chicago has one of the most underfunded pension systems of any major city. Hundreds of billions owed to retired workers that the city just doesn't have. So to cover it, they keep on hiking up taxes. Property taxes in some neighborhoods are so high that landlords are literally walking away from their own buildings because the taxes cost more than the rent coming in. And when landlords walk, buildings go vacant. Vacant buildings become eyesores, hazards, and then crime magnets. The neighborhood hollows out around them. Number 4, New Jersey. New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the entire country. Not top 3. Number 1. The average bill is over $9 grand a year. And in some counties, you're looking at $15,000, $20,000 just in property taxes. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. A huge chunk of New Jersey commutes into New York City for work. So you're paying Jersey's insane property taxes to sleep there, then dealing with the NYC prices all day while you're at work, getting hit twice every single day. And the roads? They don't even get me started. Paying the highest taxes in America on the infrastructure looks like this. People are done running the numbers that they never add up. Now let's look at Massachusetts, number 5. Massachusetts, Harvard, MIT, some of the best hospitals on the planet. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? So why are young, educated people leaving at a rate that's starting to freak economists out? Here's the thing. Boston has become completely unaffordable for the people who actually keep it running. A registered nurse making 75 grand a year can't afford a one bedroom near most of the city's major hospitals. And that's not a housing problem. That is a city eating itself alive. And the wildest part? Massachusetts trains some of the best workers in the world and immediately ships them off to Texas and North Carolina, where they can afford groceries and rent on that same paycheck. Number 6. Hawaii. Hawaii. Ocean in every direction. Sunsets that look like a postcard. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it, right? But here's the catch. When people leave Hawaii, they really mean it. There's no casual drive to somewhere cheaper. You're buying a plane ticket and shipping your entire family across thousands of miles of open water, and they're doing it in record numbers. Everything gets shipped to Hawaii, so everything costs more. A gallon of milk in Honolulu is double what you pay on the mainland, and wages don't come close to covering that gap. Whole neighborhoods that used to be working class local communities are basically Airbnb villages now, bought up by outside investors chasing vacation homes. The people who actually grew up there, teachers, firefighters, construction workers, are relocated to Las Vegas and Phoenix just to afford rentals. Not somewhere nicer, somewhere that they can just eat. And when those workers disappear, the hotels and restaurants that the entire economy depends on can't find staff. The tourist experience starts slipping, and the one thing that keeps Hawaii financially alive, it starts to wobble. Let's look at number 7 in Alaska. Alaska literally pays you to live there. Every single year the state cuts resident check just for showing up and staying, and people are still leaving. Let that sink in, it's hilarious. Here's the thing, Alaska runs on entirely oil money, and when prices drop, the whole state budget takes a hit, and they've been burning through savings for years and years just to keep basic services going. And the infrastructure? Roads that close for entire seasons? Towns that you can only reach by plane or boat? When the population shrinks, maintaining all that type stuff is spread across fewer people, and at some point the math just breaks. Young people are heading for warmer places with more jobs and more going on, and nobody is moving to Alaska to replace these people. Now let's look at Louisiana. Louisiana isn't just losing people to other states, it's losing actual ground that people live on. The state loses a football field of land to coastal erosion every hour and a half. Not every day, every hour and a half. And that's before the hurricanes even show up. But here's what nobody tells you about the insurance situation. Private insurers have been quietly bailing out on Louisiana coastal of years of hurricanes. Homeowners are getting pushed on the back of insurers, which cost more and covers less. In some parishes, you flat out can't buy private insurance. Try getting a bank to give you a mortgage on a house that you can't even insure. And the people who already left after floods, they're not coming back. That's permanent. Why would they? Now let's look at West Virginia. West Virginia has been shrinking since the 1950s. Not recently, not since COVID, since the 1950s. Entire towns that had thousands of people now have hundreds. Schools that used to be packed are half empty or just shut down completely. But here's what nobody tells you. The problem isn't just the people that are leaving. It's that there's not enough working age adults to keep basic services running. Some rural counties can't hire enough teachers, can't staff the local ER. That's not a future warning, that's happening right now. The opioid crisis pulled a massive chunk of working age people out of the workforce through death, disability, or incarceration. That hole doesn't get filled. And Oregon somehow still manages to shock people even more. Now let's look at Oregon. Oregon is the one that genuinely shocks people. Portland used to be the city that everybody wanted to move to. Cheap, weird in the best way, coffee shops everywhere, mountains an hour away. Now it's one of the fastest shrinking cities in the whole West. Here's what hit Portland all at once. A homelessness crisis that took over downtown, a spike in property crime, major stores closing up and leaving, and a drug policy experiments that made street conditions rough. People with options use them. And here's the catch. These aren't people just fleeing because there are no jobs. They're leaving because the vibe collapsed fast enough that the jobs stopped feeling worth it. Some are not even staying in the country. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and if you like this content, which I am absolutely loving making, I love doing these videos and documentaries and stuff. So if you're liking the channel, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the like button, and leave me some comments. I want to get an engaging community in this. Let me know what you're thinking. You can tell that I have a foreign accent. I am originally from the UK, but let me know what your opinions are on what these videos are like. I'd love to hear your feedback. Until next time, bye.